living in the projects, in the early 60s, I had a little transistor radio and used to listen to music, and that was pretty much my connection to the outside world. My grammar school was right across the street, so every day it was leave the building, go to school, leave the school, go to the building, and listen to my radio. And that was pretty much my whole existence. The Beatles come on, Ed Sullivan. Wow. Now music has a whole different meaning. The Crash saga begins junior high school, Prawl 27, junior high school. I was with a band called The Minor Reflections. My first band. It was pretty pitiful. I was tossed out. There were people in my homeroom who knew I played drums and was tossed out of this band, and they approached me. That was Richie Anderson and Greg Ford. And they said, hey, you play drums? Okay, you're in the band. And we went to Greg's basement, and he had an amp, he had mics, he had a guitar. So I brought down my meager little Sears and Roebuck drum set, and we started playing Grand Funk, Black Sabbath type tunes, and it was a lot of fun. Then we started to get a little more serious. Greg knew of a person, Frank Duncan, who can really play guitar. He came down, and to me it seemed as though he was playing rhythm and lead at the same time, which was incredibly impressive. Plus, he knew about Cream, my favorite band, so we started doing songs by Cream. Our first couple of gigs were totally ridiculous, playing for kids who didn't know at all what we were doing. That's pretty much how the band started. Richie Anderson was doing vocals. Frank had the knack of writing, so we started doing original songs, which was very interesting. Speaking of the projects, we even rehearsed a few times in something they called the community center at the projects, which was sort of a hall, and it was kind of ridiculous. We had no gigs, so I just got my license, so we pile all the equipment into my father's station wagon, drive it to the projects, set it all up, play for 2 hours, pretended like we just did a gig, we'd go back in the car, bring it back to Greg's basement, for no reason at all, but just to do it, and that was a lot of fun. Greg's basement was the main location of Crash for many, many, many years. Every single Friday, without fail, we'd be down there, getting louder and louder and louder, cracking more and more of the ceiling and the walls in the house. Eventually, we made the move to 84 Weed Avenue, where we all broke free and started paying our own rent, and here we are. We had our own rehearsal space. We could play anytime we want, and anything goes, and anything pretty much did. And it was a pretty wild, crazy scene, and a lot of really great music came out of it, a lot of really great recordings.
The documentary actually encompasses 3 incarnations of Crash. There's the first Crash band with Frank and Fred, that's a dual guitars.
So the second Crash band, which was Night of the Living Crash.
And then for the documentary itself, we combined both versions and created a band called Crash 2K.
It's been the first time in 23 years we've gotten together and done this. I'm really looking forward to it after all this time. Been back in the music game for about 3 years now, and it's time to go home. So it'd be like a Crash 2K kind of thing, the millennium, and so that's sort of a coming together of the 2 crashes, so making a third crash.
Cool.